Hi everybody, welcome to this video. So I was just sitting here thinking, looking out the window, and I was thinking about mortgages, etc. And who out there has a mortgage connected to their house? Probably the majority of people have mortgages. It seems to be quite a common factor now, unless you're quite wealthy and inherited property or money and it's allowed you to not need a mortgage. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, I came from the UK. Property there is really expensive, and so is cost of living, and wages aren't great. So everybody is, or the majority of people are forced into that mortgage lifestyle, which is quite a bind, quite a stress, but it's just the norm, the way of living in the UK. With mortgages, I don't think it's great. I've had a few discussions with people and these are more recent discussions because I did have a mortgage in the UK, and I would say to people, but you don't own your house. And they would come back, well, I do. And it's like, well, you don't. And I didn't take it any further, but in my opinion, they didn't, because if you have a loan against the property, the bank owns a percentage of that property, and all it takes is interest rates to go beyond what you can afford, and then the bank will come knocking at the door looking for money. And if you can't make those payments, you'll go into arrears, and then you will ultimately be forced to sell your property. So you don't own your property. The bank has control ultimately at the end of the day, which is a big concern and was a great concern for me, for my wife, and for our daughter. So we decided to make a change. When the world went into lockdown and everything happened, it was particularly tough for us due to certain circumstances. But we came out of it. A lot of people did. Sadly, some people didn't make it out of it. But we decided to make a change. We decided we didn't want a mortgage anymore. We wanted to spend more time with our wee girl, more time with each other, more time as a family. We were lucky in a way because my wife is Polish, and we decided to give Poland a shot, even though I don't speak any Polish. But we decided to go for it. Where there was an advantage for us is, even though Poland is becoming more expensive, there was still an element of money being freed up between selling a house in the UK and moving here. So it allowed us to purchase a home and be mortgage free. Now granted, this isn't for everybody, and maybe not even possible for people, because in the case of Poland, they might not speak Polish. There is a lot of restrictions in foreigners coming to Poland and buying property. So it's not for everybody. If you look at places that are English spoken, like Canada or Australia and America, very difficult to get into, and property is quite expensive unless you live away in the sticks, in the countryside, back and beyond, whatever you want to call it. You might be able to get something there, a rundown property or a bit of land, and start a mortgage-free life. So we purchased this property in Poland, in southern Poland, in the foothills, close to the Tatras, and it was a relatively rundown property. Same family had been in it since they built it, and been here for about approximately 50 years, but they were quite poor and it's been badly neglected. So our plan was to purchase this with the cash from the sale of our own home in the UK, and start afresh with no debt, with a more form of kind of security, when no bank could come in, knock on the door and take it from us if we had arrears. And then it came with a bit of land as well. So we'd hope to do a bit more of a self-sufficient lifestyle and hopefully teach our daughter, or teach ourselves, and then we could teach our daughter how to live from the land. Maybe not fully. We don't know how her life will go, but certainly some element of more independence, know where our food comes from, and that healthy kind of lifestyle. But I wonder, can we escape the mortgage world? What are our options? If you can't get out of the UK, for example, because I'll use that as an example because that's where I came from. If you can't get out of the UK, what are your options? Is it even possible to escape the mortgage world? I wonder. You know, computer or IT is a lot more active now. There's a lot more jobs in that, so could we have more remote working? I saw a couple that moved up to Sky on YouTube, and they've kind of gone for a more remote kind of lifestyle, which they seem to be really happy about. So maybe it is possible. Maybe you can just pack the bags, get rid of the mortgage and go for it. But is there sacrifices to be made there? More remote living? Maybe you have children. Then what's your options then? Do you move them to the countryside away from everybody to get that independent or that debt-free life? It's a difficult one, isn't it? I have seen families come together, families and families, or individuals forming a group to buy land and then putting multiple properties on the land, tiny homes on there, which is quite popular. It's maybe quite restricted living space-wise, but it lets you get away from the grasps of debt again. But I saw recently, as a result, tiny homes are starting to get more and more expensive, and there's laws coming into the UK where they're kind of restricting that kind of, or trying to restrict that tiny home lifestyle, which is quite sad to see, because if you should be able to own your home without debt, you should be able to put a roof over your head without having to go to the bank, cap in hand, saying, please give me X amount of thousands, X amount of hundreds of thousands to buy that home. Where I came from in the UK, or in Scotland to be more accurate, it was quite expensive to buy a home there. We had to have a mortgage. There was no way we could ever afford a home in that area without a mortgage. And mortgages don't get any cheaper, they just go up and up, really. So where does it go from there? But anyway, it was just a few pointers, an interesting topic I wanted to touch on. I've been lucky to escape the grasps of the mortgage world, and hopefully set up my daughter's life where she won't need to have a mortgage. Hopefully I'll be able to build her a small home for her, hopefully a family, and we'll never have to look at mortgages again. Hopefully YouTube, my channel, pays for my lifestyle. That is the plan of doing this, is to make money from YouTube, because like I said, I live in Poland. I don't speak Polish. I am learning it, but it will take time. It's a difficult language to learn, and so I hope YouTube will bring revenue in for me, and then I'll reinvest that into videos, into the lifestyle here, and we'll go from there. But I wonder, is anybody watching this video, have they thought about doing that? Moving abroad, trying to do something in their home country, raise funds, shared land, reduced their house size? Can they get rid of a bedroom? Can they shrink the house down and get rid of that mortgage? What about moving to another country, accepting to learn a language? Maybe the country is a bit poorer from where you're staying, so that frees up some assets, which gets rid of the mortgage. I've watched a lot of channels on people moving from the UK to Portugal. It seems to be very popular and their money goes quite far. I guess the problem we have as Brits is the UK came out of the EU, so it makes it much more difficult to move to another country in Europe now. Whereas previously we could just jump from country to country. It was a lot more straightforward. But leave some comments. Let me know if you're thinking about doing that, where you're thinking about going. Have any of you thought about Poland? I honestly think Poland, hand on heart, is an absolutely amazing country. I really do like it. I never thought about Poland up until I met my wife, and every time I come here, or every time I was going there, I loved it. And you know, we made the decision to move. It's a struggle for a lot of people in Poland, but there is the chance of a good quality life if you can find your comfort zone here. Like I say, we live in the hills. It's beautiful. The air's fresh. It's really great for our daughter, but it brings our challenges. But yeah, if there's anybody thinking about Poland, send me a message. Maybe I can point you in the right direction with a wee bit of help and advice. We've only been here for just over a year, but I can certainly ask my wife if she has some answers. But thanks for watching. I hope it was of interest. That I just was thinking about it, looking out the window at the hills, and I thought I'd just do a wee video and to see if there's any feedback there on people watching the channel, and I'll get back to more other videos in the coming days. Thanks, see you later.